controversial suggestion, let's break up with boyfriends and girlfriends, linguistically speaking. It's not you, it's me. Wait, that doesn't apply at all. When you start to think about it, boyfriend and girlfriend are kind of antiquated terms in the context of how we date and mate today. We first started using boyfriend and girlfriend romantically at the turn of the 20th century, and before that, they simply meant friends who were boys or girls. And maybe you kissed, but it was probably in secret. The Oxford English Dictionary traces the first use of romantic girlfriend to 1892 in a book dedication written by one F.J. Furnival, who wrote, quote, "To the memory of Tina Rockford Smith, my much respected and deeply regretted girlfriend." Heartbreaker, that Tina. Establishing this family-friendly term, which is a mashup of the diminutive boy-girl plus platonic friend, makes sense at the time because any hint of premarital sex would have been scandalous. Scandalous! Cross my eyes too hard. But a century and change later, this euphemistic jig is up. Now, of course, these terms are still useful to describe perhaps younger people dating or new relationships in general, but as we've diversified the way we couple up, having sex, living together, and even having kids together outside of the bounds of that weird term wedlock, our language hasn't evolved alongside it. Twitter anecdotal cases in point, Rachel NK tweeted, "Yes, I think this every time I utter the words. Domestic partner, lover, and best friend is just such a mouthful." Snowfright also agrees, tweeting, "I'm struggling to find something to call the person I've been with for 7 years. It's far beyond boyfriend status now." And Ginger BFG weighed in, "I feel self-conscious saying girlfriend given that she and I have been together 4.5 years and have a kid on the way." Bex Kolstedt tweeted, "A friend uses partner, but has to correct people when they assume she's talking about a girlfriend." The question then is, what would this elevated boyfriend-girlfriend term be? Partner can feel a little bit clinical, while on the other end of the spectrum, lover makes it sound like you just walk around all day giving each other butterfly kisses with your hands in each other's pockets, which if you do that, no judgment, but know this: I want nothing to do with your group hugs. Meanwhile, the more contemporary boo and bae don't translate to formal settings, not to mention how adopting them can read culturally appropriative. So perhaps we should simply do as the US Census Bureau does when officially labeling unmarried couples that live together and call ourselves Posselcues, person of the opposite sex sharing living quarters, which I just realized only applies to straight people, so now we're back at square one. But on the bright side, that does mean that Professor Boyfriend is technically a Professor Posselcue. Does he teach at Hogwarts?